Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Welcome to another edition of the World Elite Podcast. It's the pot of your weekly unfiltered wrestling, and we are ready to go. It's your boy, the one and only Mr. Marcus Hay. Who needs luck? I have charm, like my shirt says. It's St. Patty's Day. Joining me as always, my two co-hosts is Dylan A. Bear and Jordan Johnson. Guys, how y'all doing this evening?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. Of course, if you guys saw on Facebook earlier, we welcomed a new member of our family this morning. My sister had her second child, a girl by the name of Nora Cole Hilbrant, who weighed in at 6 pounds even, and she was 18.25 inches long. And now, not only is she my niece, my first niece actually, I am also an uncle of three nephews. She is also my third godchild in the family. So I've gained another godchild, and I couldn't be more blessed right now, and I'm celebrating that the gift of life and St. Patrick's Day. So cheers.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. But we have a little more to bring on here. We decided to do a St. Patrick's Day special, but apologize to myself. I forgot that 316 Day was a thing for the wrestling world. Yes, yesterday, March 16th, is also known as 316 Day, where it's a whole day to pay tribute and homage to, if not the greatest of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I saw that and I got with you guys. I'm like, why don't we make it a double thing? Let's also bring in 316 Day as well. I got beer drinking right now. We're going to talk about some of our favorites with Stone Cold Steve Austin and a lot of other good and annoying and bad shit as well. So I was going to quickly run through Sacrifice. Sacrifice had Impact did theirs this past Saturday on Impact Plus. A quick run through the recap. Decay defeated Reno Scum in a tag team match. Then we had Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K defeated Havoc and Nevaeh in an intergender tag team match. Then we had Violent by Design, which is Eric Young's little posse, Diener and Joe Doring, defeating Chris Sabin and James Storm, which was kind of an upset to me, in my opinion. Then we had Eddie Edwards, who defeated Brian Myers in a hold harmless match. I still don't know what those stipulations were, but I didn't get to watch Sacrifice, but I've read about it. Then we had Fire and Flava, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz defeating Jordan Grace and Jazz to retain the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Ace Austin defeated TJP to win the X Division Championship. Deonna Purrazzo defeated ODB by submission to retain the Impact Knockouts Championship. This was probably the biggest shocker of the night. The tag team from New Japan, FinJuice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson, defeated the Good Brothers to win the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And no, there was no involvement with any AEW talent. These guys defeated them fair and square. That what shocked me the most. I figured maybe the Young Bucks or maybe even Moxley or somebody would got involved, but no, they won it fair and square. And in the main event, this was no surprise, but Rich Swann, who is the Impact World Champion, defeated TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose to unify both titles, but the TNA World Heavyweight title is going back into the TNA Vault, Impact Vault, and Rich Swann will still be considered a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, but he'll be the last one to win that prestigious old school title. But Moose was considered a champion as well. But Rich Swann is still the Impact World Champion, and at Rebellion on April 24th, he will face the Ultimate Challenge when he takes on the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega in a champion for champion winner take all matchup. So that was really no surprise. I mean, Dylan, what was your take on anything that happened at Sacrifice?
The one with Rich Swann, this is what we expected. So Kenny Omega, Rich Swann, they're going to give us an excellent match. I know Moose and Rich Swann put on just a hell of a match that I heard of. So yeah, it's going to be a great match for sure. Now, the tag team champions, this is one that we did not expect whatsoever. Our show with Evelyn Carter, we each picked the Good Brothers to win in a clean sweep. FinJuice to surprise the wrestling world by defeating them. That's one we didn't expect at all.
Exactly. Now, speaking of Impact Wrestling, God, this has got to be. You thought they've done dumb shit in the past. They did maybe the biggest, most daredeviling thing, risky thing they can do. They are going to have another Impact special that's going to be on Impact Plus, and they've done it before where they've done it like a week before a pay-per-view, which didn't make no sense. But I kind of understand they got a big roster and they want them to have all the build-ups and lineups they can get that don't get involved in a pay-per-view. Well, they're having another Impact special called Hardcore Justice. It used to be Hard Justice. Let me take a sip on this before I tell you this bullshit. Okay. Hardcore Justice has been scheduled the same night as night 1 of WrestleMania, April 10th.
Wow.
Who's going to win that ratings war?
Obviously, WrestleMania.
Yeah. And besides, they're letting fans attend, so that's going to be another boost for them. By the way, for those who are trying, for our listeners all around, especially in Florida, if you're trying to get tickets to WrestleMania 37, you can either get them on one of separate nights or you can get a combined deal where you can get tickets for both nights. They go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. So if you're trying to get tickets for Mania, they go on sale this Friday. Be sure to get them because they're probably going to go quick because it's been over a year. It's been right at a year since this all started and started doing shows with no fans in attendance. I think it was a year ago today or yesterday they did the first Raw at the Performance Center with no fans. I think it was a year ago yesterday.
I'm not sure, but I know that a few days ago was the first SmackDown that was without fans in the Performance Center. I believe SmackDown was the first event that was at the Performance Center with no fans.
It was the first, but I remembered Edge kicked off the first Raw with no fans, but I don't remember Stone Cold Steve Austin being there. They said Austin was there, and it was. I don't remember that unless I
think he was. I can't remember though. But I think he was.
So, but I am currently still watching the St. Patrick's Day Slam. They're already in that historic women's main event, and Thunder Rosa is kicking ass right now. We'll have the final results for that later. But speaking of AEW, I got another big announcement that involves them. As you know, things are slowly going back to normal around the country. We know states like Texas and Florida have already been lucky, and they're already back to normal, where other states are still in phases like 1, 2, or 3. Like we're in phase 3 where we can have 75% capacity, but we still got to wear masks and social distance well. AEW had 3 events that were scheduled in April. They were hoping to be back to normal by next month, but these 3 events were pushed back later in the year. They were scheduled to go back to Philadelphia and Boston for a Dynamite and make their debut in Rochester, New York. Well, these dates have been rescheduled. The Boston episode will be on September 8th, 2021 as of now. The Rochester episode is rescheduled for September 29th, and the Philadelphia has been scheduled for October 6th. Now, right now, according to AllEliteWrestling.com, they are hoping to be back touring around the country by June 23rd, because as of now, they have Dynamite for St. Louis, Missouri, scheduled for June 23rd to be the first night back with fans. So fingers are crossed that June 23rd will be the magic date. We can see AEW fans back on TNT full capacity instead of half an amphitheater in Jacksonville. And that would be so legit because if it goes back to normal, the following Wednesday night, which will be June 30th, AEW is going to Houston, Texas at the Fertitta Center on the campus of the University of Houston. They were originally supposed to go last year on April 29th. That's when the pandemic hit and the event was postponed. And then the following week on May 6th, they were supposed to go to the Uno in New Orleans the following week. And that's still postponed as well. But I'm praying God we get that June 23rd comes quick and we get the fans in attendance again. So,
yep.
If it goes back to normal, would you guys consider going to an AEW show?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Y'all would probably do the New Orleans one, maybe.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about maybe doing that one possibly like in November, December. That was just something, a month they threw in there, but it's not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But on this Rochester episode, I remember around this time a year ago, also, that was when they did the first Dynamite with no fans in Jacksonville. That whatever date that was, they were supposed to be in Rochester, New York. And that was the night we were supposed to see Brody Lee make his debut in his hometown. But instead, he made his debut that same night with no fans. And it fucking sucks because it especially sucks that now that he's no longer here, it wouldn't have been as bad if he was still here because he would have still had a great ovation if he'd have been here for September 29th, 2021. But the fact that he's not here anymore and he could not make, and this pandemic had to ruin it, it fucking sucks that he couldn't make the debut he wanted in front of his hometown crowd. That would also was the same night Matt Hardy was scheduled to make his debut as well, because they both made their debuts the very same night. So
Yeah.
I like this move AEW's trying to make. So hopefully the summer it's going to be one we'll never forget. Still got my fingers crossed for that. But you got some NXT news for us lately? I heard about some upcoming matches they just added for TakeOver Stand and Deliver.
They added one in particular that I'm very excited for. Me and you both talked about this for the longest time. We're seeing Finn Balor, Karrion Kross at Stand and Deliver. I'm so excited for that one. We saw the return of Jordan Devlin, and I just saw a few minutes ago we saw the return of Walter, the NXT United Kingdom champion. Also, I'm not sure what he was doing there. I just saw it on the internet. So after the show, I'm going to go back and look at what's been going on with NXT. But surely some exciting things that are looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was hoping by tonight they'd have announced Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get it. But
oh, yeah, we are, yeah.
Now, I'm hoping we see a special type of match. I don't want to just see a one-on-one. I want to see a fucking fight. Now, I got to give creds to the resident Jester Jolie, if they're listening, from Queen's Takeover. She stated on their latest episode she wants to see Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in the fight pit. That would be a fucking lit idea.
Yeah, well, I'm not hating that.
That way, because like she said, no way for Adam Cole to escape or run or hide. Like, they can literally beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of cage fighting, I have another. UFC also made another big announcement. If you haven't heard, UFC 261 is going to be in front of a full 100% capacity crowd in Jacksonville, Florida. Dana White announced it a couple of days ago on social media. I want to see when the date is. I'm hoping it's not the same night as Rebellion, but I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's the very same night. God, Impact's in a fucking bind next month. Damn. They're having Hardcore Justice the same night as WrestleMania, and they're gonna have their pay-per-view the same night as this. So now I got a decision to make. Do I want to watch Kenny Omega beat Rich Swann, or do I want to see this happen? But yeah, and to make it even more bigger, they are going to have 3 title fights on this night in front of a full 100% crowd in Jacksonville. Kamaru Usman versus George Masvidal for the welterweight title. Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade for the women's flyweight title. And Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas for the women's strawweight title. So I'm going to be watching UFC next 2 nights.
Yeah.
It's going to be stacked. So seeing all these doing this shit, go back to normal is giving me hope. So I'm hoping AEW jumps on that card next.
Yep.
So, let's get to one of our first topics of the day. Yesterday was 316 Day. Yes, right. I did watch a special on the WWE Network yesterday on Stone Cold. By the way, I've subscribed to the Peacock Network, so I have it. So starting tomorrow, the WWE Network launches on Peacock, and if you got until tomorrow to subscribe to them, and you can get the WWE Network 50% off. So $2.50 for the month of March before you be paying $5 for the next few months. So get it done, guys. I got mine done. I'm ready for Fastlane. I'm ready for everything.
Yep.
So it's gonna be good. Now I haven't played with it yet, but I know it's definitely nothing like Hulu or something, so I'm gonna have to get used to it if I decide to watch actual live television on that show. But let's talk about everyone's favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the man himself. I popped up quite a bit of questions I talked to you guys about. I'm pretty sure you guys did this on your own, or y'all did them together. But let's start with our first one. Let's start with our first one. Favorite Austin catchphrase. Now, he's got many. From Austin 316 says, "I just whooped your ass," from "Give me a hell yeah," from "That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so," all the way to "What?" So Dylan, what's your favorite Austin catchphrase of all time?
My favorite catchphrase is one that you literally just named, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. That's one that I look forward to him saying pretty much every time he's on the mic. Stone Cold being one of the best on the mic, that's one thing that you can expect him to say every single time.
Okay, Jordan.
I'm gonna open up a can of whoop ass on you.
That's what's up. I like that too. Well, I don't know how, but mine has to be the what chant. When it first happened, it got annoying, but then it just grew and grew. And then they didn't just use it under Austin, they've used it for many, many other reasons now. I actually have a clip for you guys. I actually saved this over a year ago because we were celebrating. Actually, this year's the year we're going to be celebrating 20 years. This moment happened, but I don't know if were you guys watching. You guys were watching WWF or Dylan?
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there or not, but you remember what happened at Monday Night Raw Raw's War came to the Cajun Dome around Christmas time in 2001. It was actually 1 week after the Vengeance pay-per-view. The Vengeance pay-per-view was December the 9th. That's when they did the undisputed WWE title where they unified the WCW World title and they did that 4-man tournament. Stone Cold beat Kurt Angle to retain the WWF Championship. Jericho won the WCW title from The Rock. And then they had that final match to crown the undisputed champion, and Booker T interfered and cost Stone Cold the undisputed title. And then the following night on Raw, they were in Anaheim. He was hunting. That's when the What T-shirt debuted as well. Mm-hmm. And he was looking for Booker T, and then later in the night, Booker T stole his pickup truck and left. And then the SmackDown in Bakersfield, that's when he found him in a grocery store and beat the living hell out of him in the grocery store. And then the following week, they were in Louisiana. So they went from California to Louisiana in 1 week. Jesus. And Raw, oh my God. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this lights out unsanctioned match between Britt Baker is a freaking Crimson Mask, and they pulled out thumbtacks.
Oh, wow.
She's trying to suplex Thunder Rosa on some thumbtack. Wait. Sorry, guys. This is just some crazy shit I'm seeing here. But Thunder Rosa's kicking ass. What else? Anyhow, they go to Raw. Raw's in Lafayette. Vince McMahon comes out, calls out Austin, and he demanded an apology. And I have this quick-ass awesome quote. Not quote. It's a clip. When Austin confronted Vince McMahon in the ring. Oh, shit. She just powerbombed her on thumbtacks. Ouch. And she fucking kicked out. Oh, my God. Britt Baker kicked out from being powerbombed in thumbtacks. Holy shit. Anyhow, God, I'm losing my mind. This is when Austin and McMahon were in the ring in the Cajun Dome, and the crowd was electric, like any Louisiana crowd. Who doesn't get electric when Austin's in the ring? But listen to this, how great it was. This was one of my favorite moments of Austin in the ring in our hometown, and the loudest what chants you'll hear from our crowd. Take a listen.
I want you to apologize to Booker T for what you did. You want me to come out here and apologize to Booker T? You want me to say I'm sorry? You want me to say I wish I never would have done that? Booker T stole my truck. Booker T called Stone Cold Steve Austin the undisputed title. And you want me to apologize? You know, the way I look at it, Vince, hell, I was nice enough to take that young man on a shopping spree. That's right. I bought him ketchup, beer, grapefruit pond, flour, a pizza pie, more beer, and you want me to say I'm sorry? I did that man a favor. I did that man a favor. I said I did that man a favor. And, you know, I'm trying to be calm, cool, and collected. I come in there, yep. Calm, cool, collected. I came to Lafayette. And I've been sitting here all day, and I stopped at a local restaurant. I got some crawfish etouffee. I got some seafood gumbo, some jambalaya, red beans and rice, boiled shrimp, some boudin sausage. And since I ate all that food, I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. 5 beers. 6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers. And a Bloody Mary. No, I'm not drunk yet. I'm just getting started. What? And since you expect Stone Cold Steve Austin to roll into Lafayette and act like a jackass, I gotta tell you, it just won't happen. I said it just won't happen. Since I stuffed my gut, I know you're worried about this beer belly, and I'm trying to cut back the calories. But since I've eaten so much today, and I've drank so much, and I ain't got nothing more to say to you because I think you're the biggest piece of crap I ever saw. I think about it right now. If you want Stone Cold Steve Austin to open up a can of whoop ass on that suffix right there, give me a hell yeah. That's unanimous.
So that was about the best 3.5 minutes right there. He just blabbering his guts, bringing up our food and everything. It was so good. Did y'all hear it good, or was it sounded a little fuzzy?
Oh, it was good.
It was good.
I like how when he was talking about our food, he said those 2 of our foods wrong. It's jambalaya, not jambalaya, and he said boudin. It's boudin. It's still good shit. We'll let it slide, but God, that was a fucking awesome match. By the way, we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's move on. Now, Stone Cold has had many great rivals. You know, he's had McMahon, The Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Undertaker. You name it, he's been with them all. What was your favorite rival of Stone Cold?
I actually put 2. I put Vince McMahon and The Rock. His work with both of them is just unbelievable. So it was hard to pick out of them 2.
Okay, Jordan.
The Rock.
Right. I think in the ring wise, it would be The Rock. But if you want to talk about hilarious memories and moments, I would have to say McMahon. The rivalry with McMahon.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna jump a question here. I had these in order, but I'm gonna jump the next question. Favorite moment or memory with Austin? That was actually supposed to be the final question, but I'm gonna just jump the gun on that. Anything you saw on TV or in person that was just so hilarious to you, or you thought was just so awesome? It could be any of those. What was your all-time favorite moment?
I actually put 3 down. I put 3
you
down.
Put more than one.
Yeah. For one, I put the birth of Austin 316. That legendary speech he gave at King of the Ring. That's one of my favorites. Then it's whenever he fought with Booker T in the grocery store. That one was awesome as well. And then, of course, whenever he drove that Coors Light truck into the arena and gave the corporation a beer bath.
Oh yeah, that was one of mine, of course. Yeah, that was such a great
Grocery store
moment. But it just okay. Jordan, go ahead.
I got the Austin's bed pan assault on Vince McMahon.
Yes, that is one of the most hilarious. He's like, how about your foot? McMahon's just screaming, and then he just hits him with that bedpan. God, I wish we could play that clip on here. God, that was so awesome.
I know, that was really good.
You have one, So 2 of them you guys named. Yeah, the of course the beer bath. That was a historic moment. The bedpan moment. Another thing I liked that was so funny was when he had that fake gun and he put it by Vince's head, and then it was a toy and it said "Bang 316." And then he pissed his pants, and then he hit him with a stunner. That was one of them. That was funny shit right there.
That was really good.
Now we go to what was your favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin match at WrestleMania? Now he's wrestled in WrestleManias 12 through 19. Now he missed 2000 with an injury. He wrestled Savio Vega at WrestleMania 12, the submission match or I Quit match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, Shawn Michaels at 14, The Rock at 15, 17, and 19, and of course Scott Hall at WrestleMania 18. Any one of them was your favorite WrestleMania match with him?
Oh man, this got to be the one at 17. And the one at 17, for one, it was in Texas, in the state of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The amount of people there was no way in hell Stone Cold was losing that match.
Okay, Jordan?
WrestleMania 15.
With the first meeting with The Rock. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of a little hard one there, but I mean, I would say 17. I just didn't like it. Was a great match, but I didn't like how it ended. I didn't like how he turned his back on the company and shook hands with Vince McMahon, the man that he gave so much hell with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna have to say even though he didn't win that match, the submission match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, even though I didn't watch it at the time, I did go back on the network and watch that entire match, and that was like the King of the Ring was the birth of Austin 316, but I think that night was the birth of the Hellraiser Texas Rattlesnake, because after that night, all hell just broke loose, and he became a more bigger name than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to favorite Austin t-shirt, now the Austin 316 shirt, that's its own thing. Everyone loves that. Everybody knows how iconic that shirt is. It sold more. That t-shirt made more money than any other shirt ever made in the company. So that has its own wing. We'll put that on the side. But he's had many other favorite awesome shirts that he's had. Is there any other Stone Cold shirt that he's wore after the Austin 316 shirt that you guys love so much?
This one was really tough, to be honest, because Stone Cold has so many iconic t-shirts. But one that really caught my eye in particular is the one where they had to use a skull to really cover up a cuss word whenever it said "fuck fear" and in the back said "drink beer." Yeah, that was one of my favorites that he wore. Yeah,
really I wish I'd have got these pictures together and we could have popped them up. But some people will understand. But Jordan, do you have a favorite Austin shirt besides the 316 shirt?
The same as Dylan.
I was gonna say that one too because I actually had that one, but I've only had 3 Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts. Sadly, I never had the What t-shirt. I never had it because there were 2 shows I went to. Both shows I went to, they sold out completely. So I never got the shirt. And we didn't really order shit on WWFshop.com back in the day because they were scared it was a scam or a ripoff. So I never had that shirt. But besides the Fuck Fear Drink Beer shirt, I had that one. I had the Austin 316 shirt, of course. But there was another shirt you had. You might remember. He had this in 2004. It had the skull on the front, and then it had the 2 beer bottles that made like the little, like if it was a pirate logo, like the Pirate X, it had the 2 beer bottles doing that. And I forgot what it said in the back. I didn't do my research. I just remember what the front looked like. That was probably my other favorite that I've owned of his.
Yeah.
And that'll do it with the favorite things. Now we're gonna play a little quick game. We're gonna see how well you guys know Stone Cold Steve Austin. So we're gonna the Stone Cold Steve Austin quiz presented by Chevrolet. Shout out to our Chevy dealers, even though I'm a Ford guy. First question. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now I'm gonna give you the 4 choices too. By the way,
I
don't have to quit good. That's anytime I do these questionnaires, that's how it's gonna go.
Okay.
So here we go. The Stone Cold Steve Austin quiz presented by Chevrolet. Stone Cold Steve Austin beat who in his first one-on-one pay-per-view match? Was it Yokozuna, Savio Vega, Mark Merrow, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
Oh man. I really don't know. So I'm going to just take a shot. I'm going to say Mark Merrow.
I'll go with the last one.
Hunter? Okay, y'all both wrong. The answer is Savio Vega.
Fuck, I was going to say that, but I don't know.
Now, I don't know if it was WrestleMania. I think it might have been an In Your House pay-per-view. It might have, if it wasn't In Your House, it might have been WrestleMania 12. I didn't do my research on that. But here, I'll give you guys an easy one. Which title Which title did Stone Cold Steve Austin first held in WWE? Was it the Intercontinental Championship, the WWE Championship, the $1 Million Championship, or the Tag Team Championships?
Said it was gonna be easy. I recently saw a picture of him holding up the $1 Million title, so I don't know, maybe that one.
I'll go with that one.
That's y'all correct.
Oh, thank God.
Because he made
The people are gonna listen to this show and they're gonna say these guys don't know shit.
Maybe they can comment the answers to us and help y'all cheat. But
Yeah.
no, it is the $1 Million Championship because remember he made his debut in the WWF as the Ringmaster,
Yeah.
and on his debut night he was awarded the $1 Million Championship by Teddy DiBiase. But that was back in late '95 or something. I think that's when he came into the WWF, or early '96. This one will kind of be a tricky one for you guys. When I did this one, I just did a quick guess and I got it right. But Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated who in the 1996 King of the Ring first round?
Oh fuck, first round. Oh man.
Okay,
remember
your choices are Bob Holly, the Ultimate Warrior, the British Bulldog, or Flash Funk. I didn't know this one either, but when I clicked my answer, it was right. I just took an easy, quick guess.
I don't know. Flash Funk.
Jordan,
I'll go with the fourth one.
Flash Funk.
Flash Funk,
It's Bob
yeah.
Holly.
Shit.
Now, before anyone said Jake the Snake Roberts, that's who he defeated to win.
Yeah. I know. I thought that's what you were getting ready to say, but he said first round, so that completely took me out of it.
Okay. Yeah, this was another quick guess. That was a hard one. How many Royal Rumble eliminations does Austin have? 30, 33, 36, or 39?
Oh my God.
36.
Dylan?
39.
Jordan got it right. It's 36.
Well, look at you, Jordan.
Hey, I didn't know that either. I knew he was in the 30s, of course. I was almost picked 33. Shawn Michaels is 39, by the way. That's what's shown. But he holds that record. But this one should be easy for y'all. Who did he first face when he returned from injury in 2000? Was it Kurt Angle, Rikishi, Eddie Guerrero, or William Regal? In a match, not face to face. This one was actually easy. I clicked the wrong fucking answer. But I know what it is now.
I'll go with the second one.
Rikishi. Okay, Dylan.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Jordan got it right again. Rikishi.
Fucking hell, Jordan.
And that was at No Mercy 2000. He had his first match back from injury. Now, when he returned at Unforgiven, Kurt Angle was one of the first guys he ran into backstage to find out who ran him over. But now the other guys, Eddie and William Regal, he just randomly gave them stunners when he trying to find out who ran him over.
Mm-hmm.
This one might be a little tough, but he has won the WWF Tag Team titles with how many different partners? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
3.
Dylan?
2.
The answer is 4. He's won the tag team titles with Shawn Michaels, Dude Love, Undertaker, and Triple H.
This is rough.
Now, I knew I said 3 at first. I got this one wrong. I forgot he won the tag team titles with Shawn Michaels. I remembered he won it with Dude Love in 97. He won it with The Undertaker at Fully Loaded 98. And the last time he won those titles was with Triple H when they won them from Kane and Undertaker at Backlash after WrestleMania 17. So,
yeah.
Okay, here, I'm going to an easy one. He faced each of the following at WrestleMania except for Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Triple H, or The Rock.
Wait.
Which one he did not face at WrestleMania?
Okay, what was the
Your choices were Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Triple H, and The Rock.
Triple
Did
H,
not face. Yeah. Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, and The Rock at 15, 17, and 19. This is the final question.
Thank God, because I'm doing
Who Who did Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat in his final match on Raw?
Oh my god.
Raw. Was it Ric Flair, Eric Bischoff, Booker T, or Scott Hall?
I'll go with the second one.
Eric Bischoff? Okay, Dylan.
Flair.
Jordan got it right, Eric Bischoff.
Dude, Jordan just taking guesses at this, and he's getting them all right. That's unreal.
His final match of all time was against The Rock at WrestleMania 19. We all knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But that will do it with the Stone Cold trivia in celebrating 316 Day. Now let's get to some St. Patrick's Day stuff. By the way, St. Patrick's Day Slam is officially in the books. I will go ahead and give away the results for this event. If I can pop it up real quick. Right. Oh, they didn't even have it all up. What the hell? Well, I'll try and remember everything that happened. If you guys didn't watch St. Patrick's Day Slam, MJF's faction came out and they finally revealed what they're going to be called. And I had a feeling they were going to call this name. It was one of the two names I guessed it, but it has nothing to do with the Horsemen. So they're not the Horsemen. Not 4 Horsemen, not 6 Horsemen, none of that. They're called the Pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I can remember off the top of my head, the results for St. Patrick's Day Slam, I know Cody Rhodes defeated Penta El Cerro Miedo. He beat him 1-on-1. Jade Cargill won her match. I forgot who the hell she wrestled. It was someone that would compete on Dark. God, I feel bad for not remembering that. Matt Hardy with Private Party and Butcher and Blade won that 10-man tag team match against Jurassic Express and Bear Country. Eddie Kingston and John Moxley defeated the Good Brothers. I think Ray Phoenix beat Angelico. He had to have beaten him. And Thunder Rosa defeated Dr. Britt Baker in the Lights Out Unsanctioned match. That match was fucking brutal. I'm definitely going to go back and watch that up close. But yeah, they threw in tables, ladders, chairs, and thumbtacks. Oh, shit. Britt Baker's back was covered in thumbtacks. Her face was like Ric Flair style Crimson Mask. Even Rebel got affected in that match. She got put through a table and stuff. But let's talk a little bit about St. Patrick's Day. All I'm going to bring up is like some of the Irish wrestlers in WWE. You know, we might talk about some of their accomplishments or what you like about them. But I know I said I had quite a bit on my list, but you had some as well, similar to mine, of course. So I'll let you take this lead here. Talk about some of the guys on your list.
The only ones that come to mind, because you said you had more, so whenever you say them, they may ring a bell for me. The only ones that come to mind, of course, the obvious, Fit Finlay. That was, he was dominant in his days. Then you got the newer ones, Becky Lynch. She got Finn Balor, current NXT champion. And then you got Jordan Devlin, and then you got Sheamus. And the thing is, whenever we're talking about Irish wrestlers, I didn't even bring up Jordan Devlin. Whenever you mentioned his name, that completely just went past me. So I completely forgot about him. But right now, favorites, if I had to pick favorites from those Irish wrestlers, it would probably either be Becky Lynch or Finn Balor. Finn Balor, I feel like his main roster run was, of course, pretty bad. We talked about his failed NXT call-up on our last episode. And I just think that he is just better off at NXT. He's going to have an excellent match with Karrion Kross to Stand and Deliver. But he was the first Universal Champion. He beat Seth Rollins, but unfortunately suffered an injury during that same match, had to vacate it the next day. But other ones to talk about, Becky Lynch, I think her biggest accomplishment was something we talked about before we went live. And that's winning the 2 titles at WrestleMania against Charlotte and against Ronda Rousey. Now, of course, she's taking time off now. She became a mom with Seth Rollins. But whenever she turned heel, became the man character, I think that was a huge boost for her career. Jordan Devlin, I don't follow him too much. I know he's with NXT UK as also the Cruiserweight champion over there as well. I know he came back tonight to say that he was the real Cruiserweight champion and stuff like that. But then Sheamus also getting a huge boost in his career. and kind of get into that title picture along with Drew McIntyre. I think as they were teaming up for a while, him and Drew McIntyre, but of course, Sheamus turned his back and he stuck to his heel character, and thank God he did that. I don't like him as a face. But something about me tells me that they're going to insert him into a title picture pretty soon, maybe after WrestleMania. I'm not sure who's going to take the title, if it's going to be Drew, if it's going to be Bobby Lashley retaining. But either way, I think Sheamus is going to earn some sort of title victory after it's over. So that's really the only ones I'm really going to highlight right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring them up to a bit with some others. But, Ireland has a storied history in the business of pro wrestling. Although few have been quite successful in the American sports entertainment landscape, but many athletes of the last 100 or so have been bred straight from the land of green and orange, of course. But throughout the rough history of the last century, on the third largest European island, I think it's third largest, third or fourth maybe, but Ireland has established itself as a nation of brute, tough, and thick-skinned fighters. To identify the fighting Irish in the wrestling ring, but do not just look for red-haired lads. Instead, look for a fighter with a smile on their face and for the love of fighting. I'll bring up Jordan Devlin, for example. He's one of the young fighters as a part of the NXT UK brand of WWE, a bright talent with nothing but potential, but Devlin is currently in the position to help spark a professional wrestling boom out of the UK, in my opinion. He's from Bray County, Wicklow, Ireland, just like Finn. Finn Balor trained him, by the way, and he's 30 years old. He looks like he's in his early 20s. I didn't realize he was 30 years old. But he has emerged as a superstar in the UK by holding the Cruiserweight title for 130 days and counting. Actually, that was when he first won it, when the pandemic started. But they still counted it as more, even though there's two champions. But that does it there. Another guy I'm going to bring up, you might have forgot, or even is Irish, is Killian Dane. Remember Killian Dane? Yeah. He's from Belfast, just like Finlay.
Yeah.
Back in those days, they called him as Big Dano or Damien O'Connor. He might be the most intimidating looking Irishman, but he's billed as a 6'4", 322-pound man, giant, and sporting a giant beard that doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. He had a nice little run in NXT. He was a part of Sanity. I think it was Sanity with SmackDown. Then we bring up the one and only Finlay, the classic old school style wrestler from Northern Ireland. I know in WCW he was a former television champion. In WWE he was a former United States champion, and he brought in Hornswoggle, or back then they called him the Little Bastard, but he's no real Irish character. He's no real Irishman. He's just an Irish character gimmick. I'm gonna bring up someone way before our time. I've remembered this name before, but it's a woman wrestler. Does the name Velvet McIntyre ring a name to you?
A little bit, but not too much.
She was an Irish wrestler, and she wrestled in the early 1980s. She was from Dublin, Ireland, and she's worked with legends like Harley Race and Andre the Giant. She had some great matches with the likes of Sensational Sherry and Victoria. One of her, she had a great feud with Moolah. I'll never forget. I remember seeing this on a highlighted tape. Fabulous Moolah defended her title against Velvet McIntyre at WrestleMania 2. And she beat her in under a minute. I think she beat her in 52 seconds. But later in the year, Velvet defeated Moolah to win that title. And she's a two-time women's tag team champion. Yeah, I remember back in the day, they had the women's tag team titles in the 80s. Then we bring up my boy, a guy you mentioned, Finn Balor. He's the current NXT champion. He's a two-time champion. Plus, he was the first ever Universal champion. I also want to say he's held the a two-time Intercontinental champion as well. So he's a hell of a wrestler. I love the Demon King character. I wish he'd bring it back, but he's one guy I just always loved, never could hate. Then you got the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, or the Great White. He was also known as that. He had a long decade career as well from Dublin, Ireland. He's a three-time WWE champion, former World Heavyweight champion. He's also a former United States champion, and I think he's a former Intercontinental champion as well. His move, one iconic name, the Bro Kick or the White Noise. One of his biggest iconic moments was beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 28. This guy here, you probably never heard of him. This goes back to the early 1910s. A guy by the name of Dan O'Mahony. Does that name ring a bell to you? Well, this is what they say about him. He's from Dreelaman, Ballyhob, County Cork, Ireland. He started to train in wrestling and boxing in the Irish Army. After winning, a promoter discovered the young man in Army training. He began his historic professional wrestling career at the age of 22. Doesn't say no championship accomplishments, but they called him one of the pioneers of Irish wrestlers. Then we talk about Becky Lynch, of course, the man or whatever you want to call her, one of the most hottest. And I ain't talking about looks. I'm talking about she's one of the most iconic, popular, if not the biggest woman wrestler in this decade. She was the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. She's also held the World Women's Championship a couple times. I lost count how many times she's won both those belts. But like you said, her iconic moment came in the main event of WrestleMania 35 when she won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles from Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, becoming the Becky 2 belts, becoming the first woman to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles at WrestleMania simultaneously. And she did it in the main event, and she's also won the Women's Royal Rumble as well. And we do miss Becky Lynch. We hope we see her again soon. I know she's been taking time off being a mom, and our thoughts and prayers go to her after she lost her dad a week ago. So, now I'm going to bring up one more name. Believe it, you won't believe this dude is Irish. Even though he's from America, his grandfather and father has Irish in them, ancestors in them, in descent. And I'm talking about none other than the chairman, Vince McMahon.
I saw that earlier.
He was born in North Carolina, but his grandfather, Roderick McMahon, was an Irish immigrant. Because of that, McMahon's father, Vince Sr., cherished his heritage and passed his pride down to his son, Vince Jr., as always identified as a descendant of Ireland, which inspired a certain WWE legend's name. In 1979, Vince Sr. gave the young wrestler named Terry Bollea an Irish ring name because he loved his heritage so much. The name he gave was Hulk Hogan for Hogan. The rest is history. Shortly after, McMahon handled business with his son, Vince Jr., of course, still to this day. But he did have 3 accomplishments that people still to this day is like, what the fuck, really? Remember, Vince McMahon won the 1999 Royal Rumble when Austin should have won it. He's a former WWE champion, of course, and people forgot he was also a former ECW champion. You guys remember he feuded with Bobby Lashley in 2007. After he got his head shaved from the Battle of the Billionaires at WrestleMania 23, he won the ECW title from Lashley in a handicap match. So, we don't talk about that no more. ECW was such a fucking shit show in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And 06 through 2010 when it ended. But we're far from over, but that's all the wrestling we're going to talk about for tonight. Unfortunately, we are going to get a little emotional, and we're going to talk about an iconic name we knew was coming. So I'm going to let Dylan start this one off.
It happened on a Sunday. I was on my way home from Baton Rouge. We went out for a family day. And, of course, we all knew it was coming. I knew earlier in the day it made 15 years since the signing. But Drew Brees did announce his retirement. At the day I knew that was coming, but I didn't want to face the fact that it was coming. It's really unfortunate, but the time was right. I made 15 years to that day that he signed with the New Orleans Saints. And then the same day he announced his retirement. So I think it was only fitting. And on Instagram, that's where he posted his retirement. It was his 999 post. So all 9s going to his number 9 jersey for the New Orleans Saints. So there's not a lot to say about it. And of course, Drew Brees did his time in New Orleans, won a Super Bowl in 2009. I know against the Colts. Just had a Hall of Fame legacy with the Saints. And the rest was history after that signing in 2006. Brought the team to the NFC Championship twice, 1 victorious, 1 lost to the Bears. Went to multiple playoffs. And, of course, being a Saints fan, we know the heartbreak that we have suffered in multiple of them. But there's never going to be another Drew Brees. The Saints are going to have to, unfortunately, move on. Only 2 quarterbacks on their roster right now. 1 real quarterback with Jameis Winston. I think Taysom's more of that gadget player that you see playing every position. So the Saints are going to really have to move on, and the team's going to look a lot different next year. They're cutting a lot of guys, making cap space. to make some sort of move. Now what's going to happen? Are they going to trade? Are they going to draft? That's for them to determine. So, but like I said, there's not going to be ever another Drew Brees. Now, I was just corrected by someone that it was 3 NFC title games.
That's all right.
The Bears, the Bears, and then the Vikings, and then the Rams, of course. The horrible one to talk about. And of course, being there in attendance, seeing the horrible no call, I will still to this day talk about that no call. That year was the year the Saints should have won the Super Bowl. That is a known fact. The Saints should have won it that year. Would have gave a lot better Super Bowl than that shit show that we witnessed with the Patriots and the Rams. And to this day and forever, I will say that the Saints should have won it that year. But of course, the horrible refs had to jump in and ruin something that should have been great. So, Marcus, you got anything more to say about Drew?
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say, but on his announcement, I mean, I knew it was coming, but just now that it happened, with everything that's been going on, now it sucks that he's gone, especially now that Tom Brady has extended his contract 4 more years. So that means we got to deal with him in 4 more Super Bowls, and it's gonna suck. Now we won't see them two go at it no more, but now here come these so-called Tampa fans, or I'm gonna say the Brady Dick Riders, are gonna talk more shit to us because we don't have a commander in chief right now. We're still looking for one, which I've still got my fingers crossed. If I can pick a quarterback right now, I would pick Mac Jones from Alabama. That's the guy I want right now.
Yeah.
Be a good choice, unless they get Russell Wilson. That's the two I would rather right now, Russell Wilson or even Mac Jones. But we knew it was coming. I'll talk a little bit about his past. He was born January 15th, 1979 in Dallas, Texas. We know he played his high school career at one of the most iconic high schools in the state of Texas, the Westlake Chaps. Chaparral, however the fuck you say that bird's name. That's their state bird. It's basically a road runner. I just can't pronounce that other word. Of course, we know how his career went. He didn't start playing football till he was in middle school, high school. He had a threatening junior year. All his years as a starter, he was undefeated. He never lost a game as a starter. But his junior year was cut short when he suffered that knee injury, tore his ACL, and he was out. He ended up coming back his senior year to lead his high school team to an undefeated 16-0 state championship against Abilene Christian. So that was such an iconic. Now, he wasn't highly recruited. Only 2 schools offered him a scholarship. That was Purdue University and the University of Kentucky. So he decides to go Big Ten. He goes to West Lafayette, Indiana, where he became a 2-year captain, and he was a Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. He brought their team to a Big Ten championship, and he brought them to a Rose Bowl in his senior year where they lost to Washington. We know he was drafted in 2001. He was the first pick in the 2nd round to the San Diego Chargers at the time. His first year, he was under Mike Riley as the head coach. His rookie season, they went 5-11, 5th in the AFC West. He did make a Pro Bowl as a Charger, but he played with many other Charger legends from Junior Seau to Marcus Wiley, Ryan McNeil to Antonio Gates, LT, Lorenzo Neal, Jamal Williams, Sean Merriman. He played with a lot of great guys as a Charger. But his final year under Marty Schottenheimer, he was benched, backing up for the one and only Phillip Rivers, who also recently retired. So 2 former teammates retired the same season, or I guess you can call it the same season. It was during the offseason, but he suffered a broken arm. People didn't believe he was going to come back or how serious it was. And he didn't really look like a franchise quarterback back then. But we'll never forget 15 years ago around this week, it was actually yesterday, that iconic button-up shirt, the kind of clothes I used to wear back in the day. Everybody was judging by his shirt. That's how clothes was back in the day. It was a great fashion design. He signed with the New Orleans Saints, which that was also the same year they drafted Reggie Bush, number 1 overall, who's a Heisman Trophy winner. And they bring in Sean Payton. And his rookie season with the New Orleans Saints was it had a great storytelling. They were recovering from Hurricane Katrina. They had to play their first. It wasn't their first home game. Their first home game was against the Falcons. That was that iconic Monday night game where they had the iconic rebirth moment where Steve Gleason blocked the punt, and they returned it for a touchdown. But his rookie season, he made the Pro Bowl with Jamal Brown and the late Will Smith. They won the NFC Championship. Not the championship. They won the NFC South. I'm sorry. They went 10-6 in the regular season, won the NFC South. They went into their first ever NFC Championship game where they came up short against the Chicago Bears. But I'll tell you what, when I first saw Drew Brees play that home game against the Falcons, now don't ask why. This was 15 years ago. I don't remember watching those first two games against the Browns and the Packers. I didn't watch them games. I don't remember why, but I did remember watching that Monday night game against the Falcons where they did the rebirth. And I was a junior in high school. Me and my mom watched that game together, and I remember how loud she screamed when Gleason blocked that punt. And Drew Brees just looked fantastic in his very first game in the Dome. I think, didn't they win the game like 27-3 or 27-7 or something like that?
Yeah, they beat the shit out of him. I was there.
23-3 was the final score. Yeah. Ever since that, after that game, I went and bought his jersey the next day at the mall because I said, this is our guy. When I saw Drew Brees play for the first time, I said, this is the guy. I said, I am going to follow this guy. And since then, now this ain't the exact same jersey. I bought this jersey in 2012 when they upgraded to Nike, and I've been having that one ever since. That's going in a shadow box because your boy's a fat ass and can't fit in it no more. That's a large, by the way. But that was an unforgettable year. Of course, seeing them in the NFC Championship, now they did fall short, but I didn't hang my head low because this was a very first, and I had so much confidence in them. I said, this is just the beginning. They're going to be back. I said, no matter how long it takes, he's going to bring them to a Super Bowl. Well, it took them 3 years to get back to the NFC Championship. And sure enough, they won it in overtime against one of my all-time favorite quarterback, Brett Favre, with a shitty Vikings team. And that was his final game in the Dome. So Brett Favre and Drew Brees have one thing in common. They ended their career in the Superdome. NFL career. Brett Favre finished his career as a Viking against the Saints. That was his final game in his entire legendary career before he went to the Hall of Fame. But yeah, when they won the Super Bowl, that of course that was magic. I don't have to say much about that. We know how the state felt. This was bigger than LSU winning a national championship because we've all witnessed that multiple times, but we never witnessed the Saints win a Super Bowl until 2009, 2010 season. And these last 15 years have been just great. I was blessed to say I've seen him play 6 times, even though you've seen him play every home game in the last 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
No, he only played 15 years with the Saints. So you were there all 15 years, but you were probably a season ticket holder before Brees got there, probably.
I was there when Aaron Brooks was still the starter.
Which that explains it. Which that's good. I mean, you said you were a season ticket holder for 17 and 18 years, and not a lot of people can say, unless you're from New Orleans, that you were there from start to finish. And you should be the luckiest man in the world right now because you can live to say, I was there for his first game in the Dome, and I was there for his very last, and I was stuck with him for 15 years, and it never got old. But I send my dearest thank you to Drew Brees, not just as a fan, but as a man in person for everything he's done. I enjoyed all the memories and bringing hope back, but my final closing out on Drew Brees is like all from his accomplishments. He was a Super Bowl champion and MVP same year, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, a Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year winner, Comeback Player of the Year, first team All-Pro, 4-time second team All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowler, 7-time NFL passing yards leader, 4-time NFL passing touchdown leader, 2-time NFL passing rating leader, 6-time NFL completion percentage leader. He was Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year in 2010. Associate Press Male Athlete of the Year. He's also won the Burt Bell Award, the Art Rooney Bart Starr Award, Maxwell Award, 2-time Best Record-Breaking Performance from the ESPY Awards, Chicago Tribune Silver Football winner, which that was also in college. But one thing for sure, those records, bro. He got those records. Most career passing yards. What's that? 80,358. That is fucking remarkable. That's going to stand for decades It's going to take decades for someone to break that. Most career pass completions, 7,142. Highest single season completion percentage, 74.4%. Most consecutive games with a touchdown pass. I'm sorry, but I don't have that one there. I don't know what the number is for that one. He has most pass completions in a season, most 5,000 passing yard seasons, 96.7% of highest completions in a game. Fastest player to reach 50,000, 67, and 80,000 career passing yards. For 50,000, he did it in 183 games. For 60,000, he did it in 215 games. 70,000 for 248, and 80,000 for 286. Now, there's one record he does tie with 7 other quarterbacks, and that is the most touchdown passes in a single game, which that is 7. That's the record, and he holds that with 7 other players, including Nick Foles, Peyton Manning, Joe Tittle, George Bionda, Adrian Burke, and Sid Luckman. That's all I got to say about Drew Brees, and I'm going to close that out with thank you, Drew Brees, for everything.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for everything you did, and we will miss him.
And I'm sorry I took some of those records out for your words. I knew you were going to mention his records and stuff. Unless I'm missing some other ones. I know there's got to be more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. The thing is that going to the games as much as I have witnessed like the crazy amount of records being broken. Seeing him break Dan Marino's record, Johnny Unitas' record, seeing him break the all-time passing yards record against, now the Washington football team. I think that's the most recent record that I was in person for. I wasn't in there for the one against the Colts. I wasn't there at that game. For the one he broke on that game. But there's so many records Drew Brees has broken, and such a long career, it's just crazy to say he's never won an MVP award. I think it's utterly disrespectful that Drew Brees has never won an MVP award.
That's a slap in the face.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a slap in the face. But all these playoff appearances, it sucks. The heartbreak that the Saints have faced. The Rams game and the NFC Championship game being the most highlighted one. Then you have the Vikings game, the Minnesota Miracle, of course, Stephon Diggs. And then you have the Vikings again coming to our place and beating us in overtime. The 49ers game, you have Beast Quake against the Seahawks. There's so many that you can talk about. And it's just unfortunate that Drew Brees never had that elite defense for most of his career. Towards the end of his career, that's when that Saints defense is really getting better. So whoever the quarterback is that's going to go into next year, they're going to have a great defense to back them up. And I really think, just being realistic, that it's going to be Jameis Winston. I think Jameis is going to be our guy going into next season. Am I confident? I mean, that's to be determined because I haven't really seen Jameis play in a Saints uniform too much. So it's just to say what's going to happen, and I really don't know. But the thing is, I am confident in him. I think he's going to do well. Now, if we go out and get someone like Russell Wilson, I think we're going to have to give an arm and a leg for him. So I'm really not sure if that's going to happen. Getting someone in the draft, also, I'm really not sure. If I had to target someone, I like that guy, J.C. Horn, the corner from South Carolina. I like him a lot. But if we're going to target someone at quarterback, I wish a guy like maybe Trey Lance would still be available or someone like that. But I know that he's not falling to 28 unless the Saints trade up. So more realistic, maybe Mac Jones. And that's to say if Mac Jones falls to 28 as well. I think it's going to be a very heavy quarterback first round. But, I mean, the future awaits. I think Jameis Winston will lead the Saints in 2021, though.
Yeah, I would if it had to come down to him and Taysom Hill, I would rather Jameis Winston. Taysom is not a quarterback. I'm sorry. The Shiite Who Dat Nation members can stick it because he's not quarterback material to me. Mm-hmm. He's a tight end to me or a special teams guy. But you've been there for a lot of those records being broken. I was blessed to say I was there the day after Christmas in 2011 when he broke Dan Marino's record. And when he threw that short touchdown pass to Darren Sproles, I was sitting in that end zone I don't know what the coordinates are. I don't know which direction the end zones are facing. I don't know if it was facing east, west, north, or south, but it was where the camera angle was on the left side of the camera angle, and that's where I sat. And that had to have been the south end zone. I'm not sure, but that was a fucking great moment to see in person. And that was my first Saints game in almost a decade because I said I haven't been to it. 1999 was the last time I went to a Saints game until 2011. So like after 99, we just haven't went either because I don't like to say because they had shitty seasons. I'm going to say because they sucked at the time, but we wasn't big on Aaron Brooks being quarterback. I didn't think he was that good of a quarterback like people thought he was. But
no, not at all.
Give him credit for that first playoff.
But also, kind of going back to what you were saying, and not about Drew Brees, but about Steve Gleason. That game after Katrina, when they first came back to the Dome, and I was at the 2009 NFC title game against the Vikings when Hartley kicked the field goal to go to the Super Bowl. I really think that the punt block was louder than the field goal. And that's just saying, like you're finally back in the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. And there was no available seats. There was a little bit of Falcons fans, but it was mostly the Who Dat Nation that was there. And after that block, man, it was just unbelievable. You feel like your heart was going to pop out of your chest.
Oh, last question before we close out for both of y'all. What was y'all two most favorite moments to see Drew Brees do in person?
Oh man,
just him, not no other player.
I mean, the thing from being there and seeing the records alone was just amazing. And the last one I saw was the passing yards record. I believe it was a 62-yard touchdown to Tre'Quan Smith. And that was a wide open Tre'Quan Smith. No one was even near him. So that one right there had to be up there. That was my most recent one I've seen against Washington. But this hasn't even do with a game. And this is before the game. The huddles that Drew Brees would do. Now, the huddles that Drew Brees would do would make someone sitting at home want to run through their wall. Then in the final few years, he would team up with Demario Davis to do the huddles. And them two right there could just easily hype up anybody. And so those two right there, I think, would be it for me.
Okay. Now, when he broke that passing yards record, did Peyton Manning hold that record, or was it Brett Favre? I think it was Peyton Manning.
It was Peyton Manning because they played a video tribute right after something pre-recorded of Peyton Manning, giving his congratulations.
Yeah, because I remember they did like a cartoon of like him, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre standing on like a metal stand, and Brett Favre looked like he was on the third place stand. Peyton was on the second place stand, and Drew Brees was right in the middle. So yeah, that does make sense now. That was like 2000. Was it 2018? He broke that record, or 2019?
I think it was 2018 or 20. I think so. It was one of those. 2017, 2018, one of those.
Okay. And now, and of course, he's joining this broadcast. Is he joining NBC broadcast to do Sunday Night Football, or he's doing ESPN for Monday night?
He's doing NBC. I think he's going to be one of those guys in the studio. We're talking, yeah.
Oh, so he's not going to be at the game.
No, he's going to be like for Sunday Night Football, stuff like that. He's going to be like one of like the many that are at the desk.
Okay. Well, if he could probably still live in New Orleans to do that. He only has to do that once a week. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to move out of
San Diego as well.
Yeah. Okay, Jordan, what was your top two favorite Drew Brees moments you've seen in person?
I liked when he did the huddle before the game, and I wasn't there when he broke the records. So.
Okay, were you there to see him break any other record, or was there a particular team that he defeated that you were so happy they defeated?
The Panthers.
Okay. Yeah, see, my number one was when he broke Dan Marino's record because I was there, and that was my first Saints game in 12 years. And my second favorite moment was when he led the Saints to a total ass kicking against the Dallas Cowboys on Veterans Day, Sunday Night Football, 2013. Beat Tony Romo and company.
Oh, yeah.
That was so awesome. And of all the Cowboy fans they had in attendance, and they were trying to take over the French Quarter and Bourbon Street, all to get their ass beat to death by the Saints. I'm trying to remember who was all on that team besides Tony Romo and Jason Witten. I think Cole Beasley was still on that team. Wasn't Jones on that team? Pac-Man? Not Pac-Man Jones, but they had a lot of guys. I can't remember. That was so long ago. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
2013. But that will do it for tonight. Be sure to join us later in the week. Of course, my new episode of Back to the Mania Trap tonight, I did with Kat from Texas, the Texas Sports Queen, Kat from Queen's Takeover. We both attended the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. That's our latest episode. Check that out. Of course, we still got more episodes to come. We still got our Fastlane prediction show we're going to do later in the weekend. Be sure to subscribe to Peacock if you want to watch Fastlane. But until then, that'll do it for tonight. Of course, you can follow the World Elite Podcast on Twitter at World Elite Pod. You can follow the three guys on Twitter. You can follow me at Marcus Hay. You can follow Dylan at DylanJAber12. And you can follow Jordan at Jordan_J2000. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow the World Elite Podcast on Facebook and watch these live streaming videos like this on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And to close it out, you can subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Pod. Well, until then, guys, that will do it. And cheers to everybody. We'll see you guys next time.